think just in a nutshell, that's what it means, that our stories really matter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the Black community, when you speak of mental health, it's a very foreign conversation
foreign
to have.
concept, yes.
It's more westernized. And so this one really just kind of brings it back home, and it just brings our people to a place of really understanding that mental health is a thing.
Yeah.
And also I love the fact that this film also just provides solutions.
Yeah. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Blind Faith Conversations with Us. We call them the Blind Faith Conversations with Us because, as you guys know, we are in pre-production of our feature film, Blind Faith. And today, we've actually got one of the cast members of Blind Faith. She's also an actor, a model, a singer, and if you watch TV, you know this face on a lot of commercials. But most recently, she was the top 5 finalist of the Miss Polo Universe South Africa, Miss Naledi Dube. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. That was quite a long list.
Yeah. I mean, you're an accomplished person.
Right?
You're
I love it. I love it for me.
And it means you've been in the industry for a while.
Yeah.
You've been doing the work. So before singing, you're a veteran on this platform.
Yes.
You were the first time we had you on here is actually after we produced our first film, You're My Reason.
Oh my God. Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
When was that?
You're My Reason was shot 2020, so we did our interview in 2021.
Oh my God, I remember because I think around that, I had a car at that time, right?
Yeah.
I think I had my first.
Yeah.
I had my first car around that time. That was a long time.
Insane, right? Yeah. So awesome to have you back here, and now this time you're on video. It's not just audio anymore.
Yes.
Yes. So as you know, these are the conversations. It's Blind Faith Conversations with Us because we're working on the film Blind Faith. As somebody who's read the script of Blind Faith and kind of knows the subject matter of the film, what does the film Blind Faith mean to you?
It means a lot of things. I think for one, it just means, firstly, it just sets an example of, the importance of shining a spotlight on mental health entirely. That's number one, right? Secondly, what it means to me is that our stories actually matter. I think just in a nutshell, that's what it means, that our stories really matter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the Black community, when you speak of mental health, it's a very foreign conversation
foreign
to have.
concept, yes.
It's more westernized. And so this one really just kind of brings it back home, and it just brings our people to a place of really understanding that mental health is a thing.
Yeah.
And also I love the fact that this film also just provides solutions. So what do I do if I have these issues, or these conditions?
Yeah.
And I just also, I don't want to give away too much, right? But I really love the play on different characters and the role they each play in this narrative of mental health, because I feel like a lot of the times, particularly also in the Black community, when we speak of mental health, we think of other things, And as a traditional practitioner, I have studied what mental health is, and how a lot of the times people misdiagnose it, and people think that it's more of a spiritual issue, but to a certain degree it is, because we believe that if you're not okay spiritually, it translates to the physical body and mentally as well. But there's just been a lot of misdiagnosis as far as mental health is concerned. So I love the fact that it just touches on different elements of,
and also provides solutions.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the main goal, because you were part of also, the research process, because you did come to one of the workshops that we did, where we screened You Are My Reason, and we spoke about all of these things with the help of mental health practitioners that were there, and it was kind of all of those stories that were shared within those rooms that kind of developed this concept of blind faith and gave it legs and actually gave it a focus, because if you remember, it was kind of during because I think you came into the very first ones, and we were kind of just speaking about, okay, what Lihle is going through, but then how there's a two-way street and all of this thing, and then how do we then understand that there's particular things, into when it comes to mental health. So I think, that research really kind of helped, and those stories that were shared in those rooms really kind of helped to shape, there is a common thread of trauma that is affecting like literally everybody, and there's this common thread of also grief and losing people that is actually very common amongst everybody. So it kind of became a story that's like, okay, if we focus on grief and trauma, that's something that can be a global impact. So what do you think then? You said what the film shows you is that our stories matter. What do you then think that as an artist our roles are then when it comes to the chat of mental health? Like, where do you think our place is?
I think you are a perfect example of that, because our role is to tell stories of these issues, of these social issues, right? Whether or not you have the resources to do so, you just have to tell the stories and incite people on these conversations. And I think you do it so beautifully, and it also just sets an example of faith and dedication, in a sense that I don't need to have the government supporting me so that I can tell stories. You really need to start small, and people see it. It gets to the right people and it will grow. So I think that's where our role comes in as creatives, that we need to use our talents to tell stories. And that's basically what it is.
And not shy away from actually telling these stories.
Not shy away from them at all. Because I think also with mental health, even in storytelling, we see very like bits and pieces of it. They don't want to break it down.
Over it. Skimmed over it.
And the only time they get to tell a story of a mental issue is if we are dealing with a person that is psychotic and dangerous and weird. But where are the solutions in that as well? And so. So I think you do it beautifully in using your platforms and your soft skills, to tell stories. And I think also a lot of people need to also understand that guys, we don't need to have it all in order to make things happen. Even if uthatha nje ingane ezu3 ezu4 bache ukuthi guys kunento kanje nakanje, like you said, it's a story that a lot of people can actually relate to. It's all about authentic stories, stories that teach, entertain, incite.
I love that, and you make me feel very humble. So you also spoke about being a traditional practitioner.
Yes.
I know that. However, there's audiences out there that might have just been sparked by that. Oh, wait, what? You're also a traditional practitioner. So how do you? Because we know it's very, once you get that calling, umuntu who says no to it, uvelelwa yinkinga. And then when you embrace it, there's also another journey. That's also another journey within itself.
Yes.
So how was it for you navigating, knowing that in my heart of hearts, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
However, I must also lend myself to people in terms of this calling that I've accepted.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it took also a mental toll on you.
It did. That's a question of process, because like I said, a spiritual journey is a mental journey as well. It challenges the mind first before it translates physically. I couldn't walk, and I always tell of the story that I couldn't see, I couldn't walk. My journey was really, really difficult. And I didn't expect people to relate, regardless of whatever their belief systems are. But the more I tell them of where I come from, as far as my journey is concerned, the more relatable it is. And that's where also the mental health issue then comes in, because I was diagnosed after I became a traditional healer. I was diagnosed with MDD, major depressive disorder, and anxiety disorder, and I only knew of that because I had like a mild stroke. And the first thing I thought was that this was a spiritual issue, it wasn't. And I had to learn the hardest way to understand that not everything, just because I'm this kind of a person, it's not necessarily related. It's not spiritual. It's not a spiritual case, and I could say I was blessed to have, professionals within the psychology sector that were non-black, who understood what it was that I was going through, because physically I am not okay, but I also can't explain it emotionally, and they had to also, it was also an exercise for them that this is quite interesting, because we understand that this person is like this, we understand they see this, they feel this, because I could actually see what I was going through, right? But I couldn't necessarily feel it. And so it would translate in my body. I couldn't, my arm couldn't move, I was much skinnier than usual. And yeah, I went through like a series of tests, I did physiotherapy, like my mental health journey on its own was another journey. And it was not, hence I say that mental health is part of a spiritual awakening, because as human beings we all have to go through a spiritual awakening at some point, and that's what it was for me. I went through medication for a short while, I think for about a year or two, and then I got off because obviously my psychologist had to leave. He had to change, well, he moved out of town. And that's when I knew that, because I had attachment issues as well. I was like, I really...
Where you going, bro?
Like, where you going? And he hid it from me.
Oh, man.
He hid it from me. And I think that's where, like, the trust issue came in as well. With the, how dare you betray me as my therapist? You know? How dare you do that? But it was also another spiritual exercise that you are really on your own. If you were on your own during your spiritual journey, having gone, away from home for like almost 2 years, this is also it. You have to stand on your own. He did the work, he had to leave, and I think that's also just a thing, like with a lot of people who have like mental health issues, that they need to understand that we can't hog on to our therapists or our psychiatrists. Like, we just really also need to stand on our own legs. But I guess to just answer your question, for me, my spiritual journey played a huge part in healing my mind and my conscious mind, because I didn't know that spiritually there was only a certain part that I had to fix and heal and discover, and then the mental side of it was hanging, and but all those aspects are healed, but it's still a journey. Like healing never ends.
It never ends. It's a continuous thing, and I think that's such a beautiful thing that you mentioned there. First of all, your journey, it's incredible because I've had my fair share of people that underwent the spiritual journey, and when you speak to them, like there's some that because of the journey and maybe not having gone through it properly, they end up falling into a bottle.
Yes.
And it's like, but aren't you supposed to aren't you supposed to be helping people, but now it seems like you are being affected, and then there are others, that get the calling, accept it, but then have to full-time be in it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so intrigued to find out that, wait, you are still an active actress, you're an active model, yet you also are an active traditional practitioner. That must come with a big psychological, toll, but also it must come with a lot of resilience and mental strength to actually put yourself through that journey and say also, yo guys, this is but who I am. So I will do your work, but please also allow me to do my work. And I think there was a harmonious conversation that you guys had, because now you also are founder of Dube Salts, which is a brand that's growing. You're also the founder of Naledi Dube Foundation.
My newest baby.
Your newest baby.
My very old new baby.
So chat to us about that. Like, what was, you've told us your process of, okay, you had this mental journey after your spiritual journey, but then how were you able to find footing within the industry? Because this industry in itself has a mental, draining thing that's got it, you know what I mean? So how did you then, after all of this journey that you've gone through a spiritual journey for a whole 2 years, now you've gone through a mental health journey, so now how do you find yourself, how do you find your feet again in the industry?
I was actually watching a TED Talk a few days ago, and this particular speaker spoke of artistry as a whole, and he said something so powerful, and he said that art is spiritual, and so I belong in art, hence I wear many hats, and I pour equally into each and every hat that I wear. And that's what artistry is about. It's about balance, and I'm naturally a balanced person, and I think with being an artist, there are a lot of things that you have to learn, like you have to learn patience, you have to learn resilience, you have to learn I think ebaluleke kakhulu is patience in this industry, particularly in South Africa, and having to find my feet. It was never a struggle for me, but the only struggle was feeling seen or being seen. I never felt seen for the longest time in the industry, and I think. And also it goes back to the gatekeeping that exists within our industry, that some people choose not to see you because you're different. I know I'm different. I'm an artist that will be found in a corporate event. Right? I'm that artist. I actively put myself out there, and I want to have these tough conversations about where we place artists as far as the corporate sector is concerned, and other artists don't like that, and I think my calling within the creative space is also to advocate for arts, and that's why Naledi Dube Foundation imparts that knowledge and Uguti, like everywhere you go, every industry, there's art in it. You go into the corporate sector, they need art.
Yes.
They are slacking, they need art.
Yes,
you know? And that's what I've seen. So it's the gatekeeping in South Africa really needs to stop, one, but also having to learn to create opportunities for myself is one of the things that I've also got to learn in this industry. And that's why it hasn't been difficult for me to navigate through life. So the only thing that is just a struggle are the jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
okay.
it's just the jobs.
Okay.
Aksafani, like when I was like, what, 13, 14, where you shoot 2 commercials in a year and it's like the best thing ever. You know, like you're gonna have Christmas clothes, you know. Now it's hard.
It's like, yo, man, can I get a job every month? I need to be
weekly, daily. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. And I think a lot of my fellow friends, you know, in the industry, have now, you know, transitioned into the business of arts and again creating opportunities for yourself. But there's still like struggles there.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
still hard within that.
It's still hard.
Even when you say, okay, fine, you're gonna Thanos it, you do it yourself.
Yes.
But even when you say you're gonna do it yourself, there are those looking at you like, who the hell does he think he is now? Or who the hell does she think she is now? Saying she's gonna do it to herself. Fine, you know what? Let's see.
Yeah.
And
you know, another thing that we need to learn is especially in the industry in South Africa, when you do something, don't look at what other people are doing. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what's gonna make you lose focus. If you want to start something, like I remember last year, I mean, I'll make an example with the Naledi Dube Foundation. It's always been there. You know what I mean? And it was just not a name, but it was just a part of who I am. You know, you'll see things I've been doing since I was a kid, and when I look back, I'm like, Naledi Dube Foundation has always been there. So I can never say that it was established in 2021 or 2025 because it's always been there. I've been laboring, I've been putting in the work. So I don't look at what other people are doing. I don't look at all the other NPOs that exist. Uguti, most of them are about teaching science or whatever. What about arts? You know? So I don't look at other people. I do not look at what they do. And that's one of my strongest attributes. And that also kept me very far in the competition of Miss Polo Universe Africa, because I stayed true to myself. I didn't look at all my other competitors, you know. I knew what I was about, and I wanted to advocate for arts, guys. And if we speak of empowerment, how am I speaking about empowerment as an artist if I'm not empowering my people?
The arts.
You know, and it's not performative for me. It's a part of who I am. You know, I understand the struggles of being an artist, and we don't even get royalties. I'm 30 years old almost, you know, but when I look back, I'm like, you guys are saying a long list of things that I've done in the industry, but I have nothing to show for it, you know? And yeah, I think let's just stop looking at what other people are doing, but let's get inspired by the great things that they do. But let that not be, you know, an impact in how we do our own things, you know? Because then we're gonna think here. Me, I don't think here. Me, I'm already thinking Africa. You know, I'm already thinking I'm gonna be somewhere in another country, you know, teaching about artistry, you know, connecting the dots and stuff. And I'm gonna get there because I don't need anybody to assist me with that, you know. That's
such a powerful attribute to have, because I think there are a lot of people that get hindered by that. You know, looking around and then saying, well, what's ish, but Lamchita is there, why am I not there, and all of that. I kind of also, I don't think I fell a victim to that, but in the past week or so, as you know, Joburg Film Festival is coming up, ARF is coming up, you know, and having submitted my old work there, you know, and it not going the way I wanted it to go. But then I'm like, in my head, I understand that my focus is not on this. That's why it's probably not going the way it should go, because I'm focused on Blind Faith. But at the same time, you know, you also look at Blind Faith, and I looked at the journey, and I'm like, damn, I wrote this film all the way back in 2021, you know, and it's 2025 now, and we're still trying to do this, you know. And I think having a conversation with one of my co-producers, Lutuga, he actually reminded me that exactly what you say. Everybody else is doing what they were doing, and where they feel is right right now. They need to shoot these these short films so that they can boost up their confidence to shoot their feature film. You've built up that confidence of shooting a feature film, but that's why it's taking a lot longer. Because you could have shot it with whatever little money that they're giving you, but because you understand, like, I can't put my actors through that, I can't put my crew through that, you know, I can't do all of these things because I know this product that I'm trying to create, and it's a global product. So that time that it takes to create that vision that you already have, it's okay. Be patient.
I was about to say that it goes back to patience. And it takes a lot, guys. You know, we speak of patience and stuff. I mean, I'm not like the master of being patient or anything, but I think being very spiritual just assists me in understanding the importance of waiting for the right time, for the divine timing as well. And it's a tough exercise, but you have to do it. And the results are beautiful. Because you see, you're speaking of that already. You already have a story to tell of how you actually produced this film. It's not just, okay, guys, you know, here's the film. You know, the money's there. We want these stories. We want, so that it hits home. It feels close, authentic. You know, that's what storytelling is. Even if you have the budget and stuff, but we need to know of the, you know, the crossing of the T, the dotting of the I, and all of that. And I feel like it's always the great stories. You know, someone said on social media that it's always the low quality videos. You know, and it's exactly that. You know, the low quality videos are the funniest, the most inspiring. You know, so I think if you look at it that way, that irregardless of what you have and what you're going through, that is part of the story that you're telling.
Man, so patience, focusing on patience. I'm sure there's a lot of patience required in pageantry. You've spoken about the patience that you that you had to undergo as an actor waiting for these jobs, you know, and you know, divine timing gives you the jobs, which is excellent. How is it like in pageantry? The mental toll, because you are traveling, you are inspiring people, you have to really talk about yourself. People buy into your brand, you know, and the judges vote for you. How do you navigate that mentally? Because there are future pageantrists watching us right now.
Shame.
And they want to be like Naledi Dube. They want to make an impact, and there's one that wants to also have a foundation. You know. What, like, just describe to us that journey, and also not leaving out the mental toll.
Because it is a mind game. It really is a mind game. And you know, I'll start with Miss Polo Universe Africa. So this was my first international pageant. So I took probably like almost 15 years break of doing beauty pageantry. I think my last one was when I was 16, and I think I did Miss Teen Soweto 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And so I think after that, I was like, let me just like, give it a break, and let me just continue doing other things, because I started doing beauty pageants very young. And every beauty pageant that I entered for, I won.
Wow, that's amazing.
I won, and winning. And you see, this is also another thing that I wanted to speak about. And I'm so happy that you asked me this, because for the longest time I've never been asked this question, and I've always wanted to say to people that because I've entered so many beauty pageants younger and I've won most of them, I never became the queen in all of them. I was always the second best. So some of them, it's always that thing of, we'd rather take that one. People understand the politics of beauty pageantry, but God, being such a merciful God, He showed people that if Naledi is going to be the first princess, something's going to happen to the queen, which means that Naledi is now going to take up the role of being the queen. So those things happened a lot in my beauty pageantry journey. That's the first. The second one, even if I came out second best or the actual winner, I still became the best of the best. Even if maybe like I was second princess, I was doing work as if I was a winner. And that gave me, a very strong character when it came to entering beauty pageants. Because I know that when I enter beauty pageants, the girls, they need to know that Naledi is competition. And I saw it, and I have the confidence, because you're not scared of Naledi because Naledi is the most beautiful or she has the best walk, but because Naledi is true to herself, and what I say, I stand by it. You can be a judge, it's one of the things that they said in one of our judging sessions throughout the Miss Polo Universe journey. And one of the principal judges said to me, you are one of the strongest contenders in the group, because what did he say? Because you challenge a judge. When a judge asks you a question, you give an answer that also they have to ask themselves, what did I ask her? Because I know myself. So you can never ask me questions and question who I am, and question my dreams, my aspirations, my advocacy. Who do you think you are? I am what I say I am, And I remember even saying in the interviews that I think I was asked, this is now the day before the actual crowning, the prelim judge, and the prelim judging session, and they were like, where do you see yourself 5 weeks from now? And I was like, I see myself somewhere in the world doing a Christmas party with my sash and my crown. They're like, oh, so you're gonna win? I'm like, I am gonna win. Like, I've already won. And those are the things that show Uguti, I do have the qualities of being a leader, of being a diplomat, of being in spaces that people don't even think I'd be in. And I think that's the reason why I entered for Miss Polo Universe Africa, because all the other beauty pageants, it was just always about, okay, you're pretty, you walk, swimwear. We didn't have those. This one particularly was about leadership, diplomacy. So I really enjoyed it.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's really awesome to get an insight into beauty pageantry, because as an outsider looking in, I just think it's about walks. I think it's about
beauty,
and can you tell a very inspirational story and inspire a little girl out there, but it's actually a lot of work. It means that you actually need to stand by what you speak about. You have to practice what you preach. But also it challenges your confidence.
It does.
And all of that. So going through all of that, and now you've got these entities that have been around for a while. You've done beauty pageantry, you've gone through the challenges of being an artist. However you are, it's not like you're not known as an artist. No, you are known as an artist. So you've done all of these things. So what made you also be like, Dube Salts needs to be an entity.
Yeah. Yeah. To be quite honest with you, like speaking of Dube Salts, I had to put Dube Salts on hold because I was doubtful of myself, guys. I really was. I was really doubtful of myself because I didn't think I have like entrepreneurial skills or qualities, you know. I come from a family of entrepreneurs and academics. I'm really the black sheep. And I thought that I didn't have it in me to start anything, you know. And with Dube Salt, it just really came from my clients and some of my spiritual babies that maybe you should, like, you know, do something. Like there has to be an extension of a practice as a healer, you know. And like, okay, then Dube Salt was a thing. So I think that's why right now I've just placed it on hold. But I like that people really like it. You know, even how they say Dube Salt, we've never heard. It's like, you know, I that's just a brainchild that I've just put on hold for now. But to answer your question, I believe in evolving. I'm all about evolving. And when I disappear from the world, just know that I'm putting in the work. I'm cooking.
Cooking something.
I'm cooking.
In the kitchen.
I'm in the kitchen, bro. And I like that about myself. And I don't care what people say. And I think that's what sets me apart from everyone else, you know, because I'm a very grounded person. I know what I want. And I'm just focused on the things that I want, and so that's why I allow myself to go through different seasons all the time. And the one season that I really enjoy is being in my little cocoon and honing even my pain itself and my struggles and all of that, because I know, Wuti, that's the time when I'm cooking. And trust me, when I cook, when I come back, because I disappeared on social media for like a couple of months, you know. And the only thing, and I told myself, I remember saying this to one of my close friends, and I said, the only time I'll go back on social media is if I get a breakthrough, and it has to be damn good. And then she was like, yo, okay, no pressure. And I just kept quiet. Miss Polar Universe Africa, nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it.
Up until, you know, those final stages.
Exactly, top 10. Not even top 30.
It was literally
quiet.
Top 10.
I was just
literally
quiet.
Top 10.
I was just
and
quiet.
And it's like, oh, okay, now it's that breaking that. Then you're talking about like going through that season. You know, in your cocoon, metamorphosing into this beautiful butterfly that's gonna spread its wings and be like, make an impact.
Because people speak of success as if, you know, it's all pretty and everything. I don't like performative things. I like being a realist. I like people that tell true stories of the struggles that they go through, you know. And I think that's the nice thing about it at the end of the day, because I can walk into a room, you know, I mean, walking in here, there were a lot of people that were turning their heads with, who is this girl? Why is she so confident? You know, it's things like that. So to just own your story, own who you are, and that's nice, because then you have something to teach. You know, there's something that you're imparting somehow. And mina angtandi, honestly, I always say this as well. I don't like keeping people around me that are not cooking. You always need to cook when you're around.
Always be cooking.
I'm always surrounded by, like, when you like there's a long list of people. I know if we speak of. I was telling my cousin the other day, and I was saying to her, I have billionaires that I know. I've got millionaires. I've got sportsmen. Everybody. Which means that I can go anywhere in the world. I can go into any industry and I can be welcome because I've allowed myself to create a community. You know, that's different. You know. And that's because I'm very intentional about the people that I keep around. You know, I'm funji, I'm a vibes.
No, don't just be around for vibes.
No, uzama. You know, as
Zame at least to go to the future.
Yes.
You know, and I think that speaks a lot again to what you spoke about, the qualities that you have and the qualities that have made you so resilient through your spiritual journey, through the mental health journey, as an artist, as well as in beauty pageantry. I feel like the fact that you're authentic to yourself is something that has made you very successful. The fact that you are intentional about who you keep around you, and also what it being aware of what you are going through physically and spiritually has made you be able to like, okay, I can put this on hold so that this can grow. You know, and I think those are skills that are very, very important to know about, and I'm so glad that you're sharing them here, because our viewers will be able to take away yonke that you've spoken about and try to impact their lives with it. You know, and that's why I really, really wanted to make sure I get you on this platform once again. You know, after you've done, you know, such amazing work of disappearing and coming back as the top 5 finalists of Miss Polar Africa, you know, having Naledi Dube Foundation, where you've actually now kind of made an establishment, you know, basically continuing to grow your brand as Naledi Dube. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this was amazing.
I enjoyed this.
We learned so much.
I'm glad you did.
And you know, I believe that our viewers are also going to be so thankful for this episode. You know, also because we got to take a look into a traditional healer who's an artist and a model and is actively.
How wild is that?
It's like, that's why like I'm fascinated by it, because it's like, how do you do, like, again, like I'm saying, like traditional practitioners that I know of had to just fully and solely focus on that calling. So the fact that there's somebody that is able to do everything, it's incredible and it's very inspiring, and I'm sure that maybe there's still people that are going to follow you and you'll get DMs and say, I'm sis.
But I mean, thank you for having me, and like I told you that I've been avoiding a lot of conversations because, like I said, I'm very intentional with the things that I do, and because a lot of the times people just want to off-ramp and talk about other things, and I really move with intention, and I just want to inspire, you know, and feel something, you know. So this is a good feeling that, you know, now I'm thinking like,
like
I guess guys, you know, so it's things like that say no matter how tough and hard it may be, you're still the first to do it. Like, even if I die tomorrow, guys, I think, you know, I would have left a legacy of, in our lineage, we had a traditional healer who was an artist, who was a philanthropist, you know, and
and you're not performative about it. That's the thing. You know, in the current state of the world, we're seeing a lot of performative traditional healers. We're seeing them a lot, and we're finding out that it's actually a means to a certain thing, you know. This was just so that people can pay attention. And then you realize it's
and I think that's also where mental health comes in as well. You know, people trick themselves into believing they are something that they're not, because that's actually, we were speaking about it in the traditional healers association. There are people that actually self-diagnose themselves because they like Naledi Ekugibai, you know, but you don't know the journey. You know, you don't know what's behind all of that. So there are so many people that have diagnosed themselves because they are running away from being clinically attended to. So people really, really need to stop doing that. They can, however, consult with traditional practitioners and say, this is what I'm going through, because traditional healing is not just about the medicine, it's also about the mind. That's why we use divinity as guidelines to take us through. It's like a map. Usugaphi, if uphethwe inyawo lisugaphi, silungisa kanjani, iphatha kanjani ikhanda, right, so and again, that's a study that comes with really putting in the work as far as your gift and your practice is concerned. So people need to understand that as well. Yeah.
Authenticity, being intentional,
yes,
and being confident. I think, you've done everything, you've told us everything, and now it's all about just seeing your success. Also, I love what you said at the end right there. You would say it's not always about being the healer. You can go and just seek the healing.
Sure.
Because you are actually being authentic to yourself.
Yes.
And Naledi Dube, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much. And I'm excited for everything you're still going to do in your journey.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. Make sure you get yourself a Dripville Citizen cologne.
And it smells amazing.
Yes, it does.
I love it.
You heard it. You heard it.
Amazing. Amazing. Luxury.
I'm telling you, 400 Rand a pair, straight to your doorstep.
Kabanga nje.
Until next time, guys. Peace.